Marvel Secret Invasion, Episode 6 Home. We can talk a little about the episode, but you're here for the theories, the things you have not seen. Well, we've got some stuff to talk about and a review for the episode. And based on my name, you know how I feel. But his opinion is the one that matters. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here, back for Geek Friends with the man, the myth, the Marvel, Will Parker. If you're already subscribed to the channel, you know what it is. We've been popping off on shorts. Thank you guys, each and every one of you, for checking them out, liking, disliking, commenting, or subscribing on any of them. Be sure to do so on this video because we want to talk to you, the listener. Look, Will, your thoughts on the finale, Marvel Secret Invasion, Episode 6?
Honestly, with everything in this episode, and again, episode 4 brought the hype back up, and it was like, what are they gonna do? I got mad at the end of the last episode when Fury was like, I'm gonna do it myself, and it's like, why ain't you calling some backup in? Why ain't you calling some people in? Something's got to give somewhere. Ultimately, that is exactly what he did because Nick Fury is a master of misdirection. So we actually get to see him kind of go in to confront everything, and everything's kind of flipped on his head. We get Rhodey outed. We get Nick Fury outed as not being himself, actually going back to deal with Rhodey where he can't handle. And we actually get Gaia, who's going to come front and center because she's the new face of the Skrulls at this point. She is the lead Skrull. That's going to be the one that we're going to be talking about for probably the next couple Marvel outings if you're going to be mentioning anything about Skrulls. This episode, you give it a meh and sort of that because what is the reasons why you gave it meh before I go into it? Tell me why you were.
The reason for Meh is when you look at the full synopsis of everything that happened, all we learned is there were a crap ton of Skrulls on Earth. Nick Fury has been clapping alien cheeks for the entire time he's been in Marvel, and that Emilia Clarke is once again going to be the face of something very popular franchise. As far as delivering on large scale plot, not a lot happened. In the grand scheme of things, Skrulls got outed. That's it. Nobody died other than the one chick whose name I can't remember, and I'm actually kind of upset as hell that I can't remember. The chick from How I Met Your Mother played Robin.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only one that has had a impactful death. Gravik's death is even meh. And is it really death? With how many powers that the Skrulls have, who knows? I'm excited to see Emilia Clarke as Super Skrull, basically, because that's all she is now. She's an amalgamation of everything else going on, and I'm more interested in her than I am any of the Marvels that we're getting, because she's got more powers than they do. So, all in all, as great as a spy espionage ride as this was, I feel like the ending, I'm a little underwhelmed. There were 5 great episodes, and then you mailed it in. It was mailed in.
I mean, it's funny you said amalgamation because she was strapped to an amalgamator for like thousands of years in the comics. Like she was literally strapped to one once she refused to start, and that was a whole big thing. Literally, they went the comic route, and don't get me wrong, I like them staying true to the comics to a degree. She has a surplus of abilities now. Like she is absolutely unstoppable at this point because of how much stuff she has that she can pull from. The problem that I have, of course, is she basically just kind of one shotted him at the end, and that was it. Like we don't get anything else. Like the fight was lackluster. It was boring. Like I didn't get excited. It was like a couple show different powers. All the movements were pretty much copycat movements. We're using like the Ebony Maul. Like everything was just kind of still more of the same. And when it came down to Gravik for being such, you know, the badass that he was built up to be, he went out very easy. It was not fun. It was not menacing at all. Like I just kind of felt like his last line delivery, and he died. It was not
He
impactful at
came
all.
off as whiny throughout the entire series, and the ending fits that.
Look at my face, first face. I'm like, okay, yeah, freaking, and like that maybe would have if we actually saw some of that, like back then, like say if we saw Captain Marvel and saw he was brought in or whatever, or just saw him in the movie at some point and he took somebody out and that person was he was still a scroll and I was saying because you could have anybody play a scroll and take that person out, then you bring him back around full circle and know that he took the face, then it would have made sense because now you go back and watch the movies and see. Marvel's pretty good about coming full circle with that one, but I think that's something that they probably could have pulled off. Maybe they didn't think about it till now. But either way, series started off decent, got a little bit better, and then fell flat. Like there's no other way to put it. Um, I wanted to see maybe we'll see a triumphant, return of Rhodey to cause some backup and some, a bunch of Hellfire to take out a bunch of scrolls. I thought it was gonna be like the whole thing is it's called Secret Invasion. Like I wanted to see an invasion of scrolls and like actually get to scrapping. Like you got to have
This
Marvel's
was Civil War all over
fight
again.
fight scrolls off or something like that and take out a couple of them or something like that. I think Gravik took out more scrolls himself than the rest of the Marvel heroes did. So
Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Because this was Civil War 2.0. Civil War in the comics is a blown out bloodbath on both sides. Very few people die, but when they do, they're the big name players. And they had a secret invasion that ended in a 1v1. Make it make sense, Marvel. Make it make sense. And for this to be your hoorah going into the Marvels that's supposed to keep us here and happy, not a lot of people are thrilled about the Marvels or anything concerning the trailer. It's like, I'm here for one of them, and it's because she was awesome in WandaVision. The other two, ah?
here's my question. Gaia, freaking, she got the powers, she got everything. It infuses directly to both of them because obviously it only affects Kree physiology because he wouldn't have done it with Nick Fury in there if it would have affected Nick Fury. So that's why I was a little surprised at him. But Gaia in the comics has superhuman strength, durability, telepathy, telekinesis, freaking, pretty much immortality. Like she is like OP. If she has all of that, then that means the Gravik has it too. So I can't count him out as being dead, so to speak. We saw him get a hole blown in him, and he's laying on the ground. That's it. They can come back 3 shows, 5 movies down the road and stuff like that, and show Extremis heal up that freaking hole, and he wake up, and now he's back on the rampage. Because there were several Super Scrolls running around throughout the comics throughout the years, like various different ones with different sets of powers based off of whatever situation they were able to acquire. Now they've kind of put everything in these two, and the harvest has effectively been utilized. I'm not sure if it's just done. Can it be used over and over again? Is it just a one-time use? Whatever the case may be. What's going to happen now with these two? So, and how are they going to impact the world going forward? Because we know Nick Fury is still going to be hanging out. He's about to go up to space and hang out and wait for the Marvels thing to happen because we know he's in the Marvels movie. But the Marvels has also been listed as a sequel to like 6 different Marvel properties. Apparently, is what the rumor is. This was it. So we got to see how all this feeds in and where it's going to go. But I'm still disappointed. I'm still just like we could have went
Like, the
somewhere with this.
thing that is interesting for me is I almost thought they were going to be ballsy and do like a thing, like, the thing from the Fantastic Four as the Rock thing. That was Korg. That was definitely Korg from, Thor 3. The Ice Sword kind of made me really want to be like, is that a mutant? Is that Iceman? Are they trying to do this right here? It's like in the most not so subtle way possible, but not enough definitive proof. And then we saw Carol Danvers' power set, and there was a lot going on. But being busy is not being good. Being productive and giving us a story that can move forward can be good. It's kind of like how Marvel's like has announced that Robert Downey Jr. is likely coming back for the new Captain America movie. You can keep throwing all the nostalgia you want at me. You're just going to keep ruining the fact that he died for a cause. This is not a fix. Good writing would be a fix. And Bob Iger, I don't care how many promises you've given us at this point in time. Maybe deliver. That would be great. I feel like we've been asking for this since what? Loki? It's been a while since we had a start to finish show that was on par with that red logo that you so love and behold. We all want great content. We ain't getting it.
Well, they said that they did a few too many shows and some things were rushed. So they it looks like they're trying to be in the process of revamping how they're pushing out content. But again, they've already got stuff lined up that they're kind of getting out, especially with the current strike and stuff that's going on for the writers and the actors. So a lot of things have been put on hold and pushed back. So now they got to take what content they have and spread it out accordingly based off of their situation because they can't get any reshoots or anything like that. So again, we see what they're going to bring to the table as far as setting up for a good story now going forward. But until then, we're just kind of left with broken promises, so to speak. Like I don't feel like this espionage thriller, sort of that, so to speak, it should have ended the way that it ended, and just a fight. Like I wanted to see more stuff, assassinations, taking people out, so that bringing in whatever characters are necessary. Like if other people, like I would have brought Hawkeye in for some stuff. Like Hawkeye sniped somebody from 2,000 yards out without thinking twice about it. So it's like, what are we gonna do to really make this seem more? Because it felt like it was supposed to be humans versus scrolls, like straight up humans. So, but it's only Nick Fury, and he didn't do much. The stuff that he did do face off against Gravik, it wasn't even him. So I don't know.
Question. And bear with me here because you're the Marvel expert, and then I'm just the novice learning this as we go on the fly here. I think Marvel excelled early because their universe felt connected and it felt impactful. We resonated with the characters. And sure, you've given us a litany of new characters to work with. Do you feel anything is connected to anything with any level of significant impact? Because aside from the villains dying, what connections have we drawn here? Like the closest thing we have is we saw Scarlet Witch hang out with Doctor Strange and America Chavez, and that was in one film. That didn't tie into anything.
I think that with the Marvel universe, when it started off, there was interconnected worlds. Like think about bubbles. So the Avengers and all that stuff was in this bubble. Like everything was happening on Earth, primarily California, New York. Like this is where everything's kind of going on. And you had Guardians over here, and everything's kind of being handled in Guardians over here. And then eventually you got in Wakanda, which stuff was happening in Wakanda, but it had references to, you know, New York and all that kind of stuff. So everything was set up to where it had its own little world, but it had its connections and stuff that kind of brought it together. Now, because we're expanding the universe and we're doing more space, more magic, even with Thor, like I said, Thor had Asgard for that, but Asgard had a connection to Earth for that. The connections were simplified. Now the connections are much more far-reaching. So now that we've got everything with space involved, we've got different planets and stuff involved. It's like you got to know what characters are coming from these planets or what is coming from. It's not just space anymore. Like it's going to be specific places in space. Not only do we
Can't
have,
wait to get to the whole universe stuff. Like this is only him from Universe 7. It's like, and you
yeah,
have to know that because you have to watch the 27th Marvel movie, which is just that meme all over again with our next generation. You have to watch these 80 movies and 45 shows to understand this one joke made in the 47th movie. And you'd be like, that's doing too much for too little of a thing.
I was hoping that they kind of set it up to where they still give us the nostalgia as far as people who have watched and invested in all the movies, but you still make it to where it's at a point where people can kind of come in new to it and kind of pick up here. Like they're starting at this, so it does, like you can know the history of some things. Like I watched Dragon Ball, love Dragon Ball. What is it? You can come in on Dragon Ball Z and just watch Dragon Ball Z and be good. Like you got an idea of what's going on. We get some of the backstory references and understand some of the characters from the past from Dragon Ball, but you can watch Dragon Ball Z as a standalone. That's kind of what I was hoping that they're going to do with this series of this next, whole thing. We got Infinity War, Endgame, all that kind of stuff. That was, the Infinity Saga was its own thing. So now this next saga is like, okay, I want to stand alone. Can you bring new people in? So that's like, okay, we got new Captain America, we got Young Avengers popping up, so that Doctor Strange, Shang-Chi are at the forefront of some of the newer characters. War Machine steps out of the shadows and he's able to be, taking over for Iron Man as far as the Armored Avenger. Like, we have stuff going on. So let's focus on that stuff and not harp too much on the past stuff, because I feel like the more we harp on it, the more we get diminishing returns as far as how we felt about it. Again, Endgame was epic. Everything was epic. You're bringing Tony Stark back. Okay, how are you bringing him back with that? I'm assuming in the
It's
form of
only
a
a flashback, because otherwise this is crap. If you try and tell me this is Tony Stark from universe blah blah blah, you've basically given the middle finger to every Marvel fan ever for all the time, money, and effort we put into the Infinity Saga. And also, he's not a constant like Scarlet Witch, so it's also a middle finger to the comic fans on top of it, because that's not how this works. You can try and explain it how you want. Nah, he dead. He's gone. Move on.
I want different actors. I mean, I want some of the actors to be different. Like, and that's the thing. You want iconic characters. So Professor X is Professor X. So that's like, okay, this is Professor X. We know Patrick Stewart. We love Patrick Stewart. So that he is a treasure. I love him. But at the same time, when we're doing different universes,
when we're doing different universe, things can kind of get jumbled, and it looks like, honestly, I've lost Will, thanks to the lovely power of the internet. So be sure to hit that lovely red subscribe button, because he seems to be frozen completely in place. If not, I'll see you guys in the next one. We got plenty of Marvel to talk about.